last year, Director of National Intelligence, Dennis Blair, well, he was at the time the Director of National Intelligence for Obama, had said that the Obama administration had authorized assassinations of American citizens working with terrorist groups overseas. But don't worry, it was only 3 people. And they were really, really bad guys. Okay? Now, remember we had the former covert operative from the CIA on the show yesterday, Barry Eisler, right? And what did he tell us? He said if they tell you 2 tapes are missing, that means 92 tapes are missing, right? So they said, oh, don't worry, we only have 3 American citizens on our execution list, on our assassination list. No due process, no trying to capture him, throw a drone strike up his ass and he's dead, right? Okay, they say, and don't worry, it's in a limited amount of places. Guess what we're going to find out? Well, it turns out the Deputy White House National Security Advisor for Homeland Security and Counterterrorism, John O'Brennan, just gave an interview to the Washington Times where he says, nah, it's not just 3 people. There are dozens of Americans who are slated for execution. That's what I'm talking about. We've just gotten used to it. It's like, oh, yeah, well, of course, predator strikes, drone strikes, assassinations of American citizens, obviously. Now, listen to what Brennan says. There are, in my mind, dozens of U.S. persons who are in different parts of the world, and they are very concerning to us. If you're apparently concerning the U.S. government, you might get assassinated. He says, quote, not just because of the passport they hold, but because they understand our operational environment here. They bring with them certain skills, whether it be language skills or familiarity with potential targets, and they are very worrisome, and we are determined to take away their ability to assist with terrorist attacks. Let's put on the decoder ring. That means, hey, if you grew up in New York or you grew up in Kansas, well, you are understand our operational environment here. And if you are fluent in English, they bring with them certain skills, whether it be language skills or familiarity with potential targets, like a mall in Minnesota, right? He's talking about American citizens abroad. They just make the decision. That's it. You're on the list. That's it. This is not the Bush administration. This is the Obama administration. It's not that Bush didn't do this. It's that Obama has expanded it. Change, you can believe it. All right, Brennan continues. If an American person or citizen is in a Yemen or in a Pakistan or in Somalia or another place, and they're trying to carry out attacks against U.S. interests, they also will face the full brunt of a U.S. response. What we need to do is apply the appropriate tool and the appropriate response. That appropriate tool is a bomb on top of your head coming from a predator. Now, does it sound like it's limited to you guys? Dozens of Americans. It could be Yemen, Pakistan, Somalia, or any other place, and you will face the full brunt of the U.S. response if you are assisting other terrorists. Now, do you trust their definition of that? All right. Don't talk to anybody fishy in Germany if you're on vacation there, or in Italy or France. I don't know. I mean, look, do I think that they're going to go and start assassinating random American tourists throughout the world? No, I don't think that, okay? I hope not. That would be beyond absurd. But once you give the government ultimate power like this, how do you walk it back, and where do they draw the line? Those are the questions. So don't worry, though. The legendary General David Petraeus will help you draw that line, because he has, quote, ordered a broad expansion of clandestine military activity in an effort to disrupt militant groups or counter threats in Iran, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, and other countries in the region. Once again, other countries in the region. Have at it, Hoss, okay? And this was leaked to Mark Mazzetti at the New York Times. That means that General Petraeus told him to write it, and he did. So Petraeus is letting you know, I can execute anybody in any of these countries. Okay, next. What else would you like to know? Mazzetti also says that there's a joint, I love this title, Joint Unconventional War Task Force Execute Order. And it, quote, authorizes the sending of American Special Operations Troops to both friendly and hostile nations in the Middle East, Central Asia, the Horn of Africa, to gather intelligence and build ties with local forces and execute it. Okay, I added that last part, but that's because that's, in fact, what they're doing in some of these cases, right? As we see from the other reports. In March 2009, Seymour Hersh had reported about this JSOC for short, and it's as he explained at the time, it's a special wing of our special operations community that is set up independently. They do not report to anybody, except in the Bush-Cheney days, they directly reported to Dick Cheney's office, and Congress had no oversight of it. So now, if you thought it's bad that we don't know where they're drawing the lines on which American to execute, don't worry, during the Bush years, without consulting anyone else, the vice president would get to make that decision. Now, during the Obama years, we don't know who gets to make that decision. Does Biden get to pull the trigger? I hope not, right? He thinks somebody's a smartass, and that guy's in a lot of trouble. Right? No, it's not going to work that way, but it is this enormous power. Okay, now, who ran this special unit, the JSOC, from April of 2003 to August of 2008? You want to guess? The commander in charge. Huh. General Stanley McChrystal. Funny world. Funny, funny world. Okay. But don't worry. He seems like he's got everything figured out. He wouldn't be foolhardy or rash. He wouldn't make decisions that don't make sense afterwards. He's got a lot of common sense, and he's got, what is it, JR? Nunchucks? Okay, I got it right this time.